It's round one. You're on the clock. Who do you pick? We're going to help you figure out who you should take no matter what draft slot you have. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Endgame community. I'm Pierre, and he's Chris. Now, your first round pick can make or break your league and your season. We're going to go over our first round rankings and tiers to help you know exactly who you should pick no matter what position you're drafting from. All right, so let's get underway. Start with tier one, the cream of the crop. All right, number one, no surprise, we both have JT. Look, it doesn't mean that we're both 100% convinced he's going to be the number one guy in fantasy, but that's just who we have ranked there. Makes sense. Don't fight it. Number three, we both have Justin Jefferson, so the difference comes at the 2 spot. I got CMC. Chris, I guess we shouldn't be surprised. You got Najee. So you're sticking to your guns. You have him number 2 in your rankings?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've been here during the offseason in our Discord, you know how I feel about Najee. I'm not going to do a deep dive on Najee. I know there's a lot of people worried about the offensive line, the quarterback, the offense, his efficiency. None of that stuff mattered last year. Then I know there's people worried about this, I don't know, buzz out of camp, ridiculous buzz out of camp that he's going to lose touches to Benny Snell or Anthony McFarland or Jaylen Warren. Like, come on. When has Mike Tomlin ever used a committee? Mike Tomlin wants one guy that he can lean on. He spent a first-round draft pick on Najee Harris, so he had that guy he can lean on. 381 touches last year, led the league in receptions. He's either going to lead the league or be top 2 or 3 in touches this year. Chase the volume. That's all that really matters in fantasy. So for me, yeah, Najee at 2.
Yeah, and look, I'm not by any means down on Najee. You'll see him pretty soon in my rankings, but I got to have CMC this high. Look, I'm not somebody who gets scared away by injuries that happened last season. If it's something that's happening right now in the training camp or preseason, yeah, that's different, but you have to go with the upside, and we know for a fact absolutely nobody has more upside than CMC. I'll give him a shot. So number 2 is where I have him. All right, on to tier number 2. So both got Cooper Kupp slotted in right there at number 4, just a hair behind JJ. There you see I have Najee 5, and then you got McCaffrey, so just a little switch there. And then we're pretty close on Chase. Here's the difference. I have to have Derrick Henry in tier 2. Chris, you don't. I know the concerns. Is it just the fact that he was injured last year? Is there something more to this?
I mean, there's more to it for sure. To me, Chase is the last guy in the first round. Basically, if we're going off like consensus first round ADP right now, Chase is the last guy being drafted in the first round. Well, other than the guy that I have after him, that I feel really good about as a first round pick. I like Henry. I got Henry as a first rounder. You'll see him in the next tier. My concerns aren't the fact that he got hurt last year, because lots of guys got hurt last year. It's the fact that he is approaching, well, he's going to be 28 years old. He's got 1,500 touches on him. And they're going to ask him to handle another 400, carries this year. They don't care. They're going to run this guy until he absolutely breaks. And I don't feel confident that he's not going to break again, because, look, he was a cyborg for a while, but he's not. You can't say he's a cyborg anymore, because he broke last year, 212 carries in the first 8 games, and then he got hurt. What's going to happen when he has 300 carries? What's going to happen when he has 350? I mean, if he makes it that far. So volume is there. You got, like I said with Najee, you got to chase that volume. Just for me, I don't feel like he can hold up to that level of volume at his age with the amount of wear and tear he has on his body. Still have him as a first rounder. You'll see in the next tier, but just not as confident as I feel about these first 6 guys.
So here's the thing, and I get that, the concern is that he's handling so many carries. But you know what I love about him? Is they're going to ask him to have 400 carries again. They will not stop feeding him until he literally just combusts in the middle of the field. It's going to happen. Look, who did they bring in? Nobody. They drafted Hassan Haskins. I like Haskins, but this was not by any means an early pick, right? There's not heavy draft capital involved here. They didn't bring in any free agents. They're going to run Derrick Henry to the ground, all right? So maybe happens again, but look, here's the thing. If you drafted Derrick Henry last year, it was disappointing that you didn't have him in the end of the season, especially the fantasy playoffs. He still helped you for half a season to be first place in your league. by week 8. So that's the thing. He doesn't even have to play a full season to really, really be a big boost to your team. And like you said, we're going to see in the next tier, there's a lot of guys who are kind of questionable, just don't have nearly the upside. We know that Derrick Henry's upside is he is the best player in the world. So I think I'll take a chance on him, even if it's not a full 17 games. I'd rather have that than probably any other player after this. All right, and then our third and final tier for the first round. It's kind of surprising, or maybe not surprising. We're kind of in step here. We both have Austin Eckler at 8. We got Saquon Barkley at 9. Yes, we are all in on Barkley as a first-round pick. We've talked about that before. So here's the thing. We're both pretty close on DeAndre Swift. You already talked about Derrick Henry. So you got Davante Adams a little lower. In fact, it looks like you have him at the very end of the first round. Do you feel he's not as safe of a pick?
It's not that he's not as safe. He just doesn't have the upside he had in Green Bay. And my problem with this part of the draft, I hate this part of the draft this year because when you look at the players who are actually being drafted here, not our rankings that you're seeing on the screen, but the players who are actually being drafted here, guys like Travis Kelce, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs even going, higher up in the first round. I don't feel like those guys have the upside I'm looking for in the first round. And I know a lot of people say just play it safe in the first round. Sure, play it safe in the first round. Yeah, maybe if you just want to make the playoffs. I'm trying to win championships here. I'm trying to win every single league I'm in. I'm not playing it safe in the first round. My first round pick needs to be a league-breaking potential type of player. That's why I have Barkley up here. That's why I have Swift up here. I talked about Derrick Henry. If he stays healthy, he's going to break leagues. I still really like Austin Eckler. And then I have these wide receivers. So it's not so much that I feel like he's not as safe. It's just, Adams certainly doesn't have the upside he had in Green Bay. I think we can all accept that. And also just the guys that are normally being drafted here, I don't really like any of them. I think they'll be okay, and I think they'll be fine. But I'm not drafting my first round pick to be okay or to be fine. I'm drafting my first round pick to help me win a fantasy championship, and these are the guys I feel have the best chance to do it.
Yeah, that all makes sense. Look, I'll say I have to have Adams over Diggs because to me, Diggs is more of a floor play, a little safer, I guess you could say. He's not a guy who's really scored a ton of touchdowns. Unlike Davante Adams, I get it's different. He doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, but look, he's got his buddy. Derek Carr is going to feed him a ton because that's also really, unless you count Darren Waller, the tight end who's now approaching 30 and banged up throughout the preseason, there's really not too much to threaten the fact that he could be one of the top target getters again. We've known that he has been the top receiver in all of fantasy multiple times. And so I really think he could do it again. I don't have him number 1, but I really don't think I can put him below Diggs or any other receiver other than those big 3. All right, guys, hopefully this helps you out. When you're on the clock, you want to know who to pick. Those are our takes. Of course, if you join our Discord, you can have that conversation in our On the Clock channel. We have so much more where we can help you on draft day and beyond. Thanks for watching.